Let's listen and cheer on the Reverend David Bullock. David.
Peace to all of you. My name is David Bullock, and I'm pastor of Greater St. Matthew Baptist Church in Highland Park, and work with the Highland Park NAACP and with Rainbow Push Detroit chapter and state of Michigan. And I'm happy to be here tonight, and I'm so honored, really peacock proud, privileged to be invited tonight to share some words at this wonderful celebration, the 10th Peace Builder celebration, the Peace Action Michigan Education Fund. Let's just give all of our peace leadership a hand right now. Just clap. I must thank my friend, Reverend Rich Peacock, for that introduction, and for thank you. And for laying the great burden now for me to live up to what he said he saw me doing the last time he saw me. But I want to thank you, Rich, so much. I also must thank Helen Weber for and the planning committee for indeed. I would not be here if there was not some intentionality about inviting a young Baptist African-American preacher to come and give reflections at this event. So I both applaud the integrity, the diversity, and the intentionality of that decision. For indeed, we are all God's children, and we are in this thing together, and we must work together and come together. I do feel a bit overwhelmed now. This does not happen to me often, but after listening to the Lifetime Achievement Peace Builder Award recipient, Sigrid Dale's, I don't know if that was a biography or a documentary or a book, I don't know what that was, because it was just full of so many wonderful tellings about the courage of this fine woman and her husband, this team that work together for peace and for freedom and for justice. And in this day and age where we are more Facebook than face-to-face, we're more Twitter than touch, we are disconnected yet have more resources to be connected. And where people in my generation and younger try to suggest that marching doesn't work, that protest is passé, that the fight for freedom is over. Let's get on to the real business of making money, suburban living, and vacations, and all of that rhetoric about changing the world. That's old stuff. You guys get out of the street, come to the suites, let's have a party, because everything's going to be all right. It is just so encouraging for me. You have no idea. I was sitting there and I said, you know what? I feel like marching on, because if not only are the winds there where the landscape of our nation and our world has changed, where nuclear armament, the Cold War, and other seemingly insurmountable obstacles that we did not believe we were going to overcome, that we have overcome: racial prejudice, public accommodations, the Voting Rights Act, Barack Obama in the White House. I mean, all of these things. They said we'd never make it. They said we'd never be here. They said we'd still be in slavery. We'd still be segregated. We'd still be lost, leased, and left out. But there was some marching and some protesting. There was some letter writing. There was some editorials. There was some campaigns. And before there was the computer, there was the Pony Rider. Before there was Twitter and Facebook and email, people would knock on doors. And there was a movement that changed not only this country but the world. And I believe that now, as batons being passed to folks like myself and even those who are a bit younger, we must run in this relay and never give up. We must run our laps over and over and over again. We must not drop the baton. And so I'm so excited. I'm overjoyed. Let me say, as I get ready to take my seat, that peace is such a profound ideal. And it is amazing to me how all the things that we could be engaged to fight for in this world, so few put peace as a priority on their to-do list. In fact, we have a rising tide of violence in this country and around the world. CCW applications going up, tasers being approved by our governor recently, as if tasing people, stunning them with stun guns is some Star Trek reality. Set your phaser on stun, shoot somebody, they'll be all right. But if you move from Star Trek to the real world, you discover that tasers kill people too. So we're seeing the escalation of violence. The ban on assault weapons was supposed to be revived by President Obama, and while we support him and applaud him, we yet call on him to fulfill the unfinished business of reviving the ban on assault weapons. If you can buy an AK-47 at Walmart or at Myers, and then you can utilize that in Detroit, in southeastern Michigan, and the nation, then that's a problem. And I don't know about you, but bullets don't pick black people. Bullets don't decide that they are going to kill Caucasians on Friday. Bullets don't pick people because they're poor. Bullets don't have a ghetto mentality. Bullets just are released on a trajectory. And if a baby's in the way, if a senior's in the way, if a family member's in the way, if you're a Baptist, Episcopal, atheist, socialist, communist, or idealist, if the bullet is coming your way, you're going to get hit by that bullet. And so we must stand against the rising tide of gun violence and violence in our community. And that is not the only issue. Bullying. I'm reminded now. That's right, bullying. I got a call, email, in fact. I was in Washington, D.C. talking with the USDA about urban farming and SNAP dollars for urban farms and money for hoop homes. Our church is getting ready to build a couple of hoop homes, and we're going to pilot a soil-to-shelf program with independent grocers. And we were there talking, and as I was in the meeting, I was interrupted by a parishioner at our church. And I looked at the email, and the sister said, the mother, as we move into Mother's Day, she said, "Pastor, please pray for my family." I said, "Of course, you're a member. I can't say no. What kind of pastor would I be to say no? Besides, you're a tithing member. And so I won't say no, because then I would be a bad pastor and a bad manager, because we want to keep the tithes coming in." Amen. Y'all missed that. And so I said, "I'll pray for you. But what's the problem?" She said, "My 8-year-old son has been bullied in school for the last 2 months. The bully took his telephone, and I've been looking for the telephone. And he's been lying to me because he does not want to appear weak to the kids at school, including the bully." She said, "And I can't get any satisfaction." I said, "Do you need a protest?" She said, "Not yet, Pastor." I said, "Do you need a prayer vigil?" She said, "Not yet." I said, "Do you need an op-ed?" She said, "Not yet." I said, "Do we need to march on that school?" She said, "Pastor, hold on." "Not yet." She said, "Just pray." I said, "I'll pray for you." But then I became concerned, because here a young parishioner in my church is suffering at the hands of a bully. And his parents can find no relief. And that case is multiplied, not only in Detroit, state of Michigan, but around the nation and the world, where now bullying is becoming a public safety issue. And so as we once fought against the armaments that were atomic, hydrogen, and nuclear, now we must fight against the armament of the nuclear tongue that is inside the mouth of our children, that drops bombs and weapons of mass destruction into the psychology of our children and causes them to be alienated in the very classroom where they should be educated. And so we must fight against the phenomena of bullying. Bullying must stop. That's a full plate right there, but this is a Thanksgiving agenda. And so there is more work for us to do. Bullying is on there, the culture of violence, gun violence is there, but Trayvon Martin reminds us that we must fight against public policy like stand your ground laws around the nation. Trayvon had the hoodie on, but America has been hoodie-winked. Because in the name of stand your ground, people are being killed by law enforcement. And so Trayvon does not just call us to arms to protect young people from being expelled from school under a zero-tolerance policy, because Trayvon would not have been in Sanford, Florida, the birthplace of Howard Thurman, if he had not been expelled from school. And so the story of Trayvon starts in the school system, where they are not correcting, but they are suspending and expelling. But that is not enough. But Trayvon reminds us that we must remain vigilant against police brutality, against the abuse by law enforcement. And while we would like to believe that every police officer or law enforcement agent is just and moral and doing the right thing, we can never let them usurp our citizen power to hold them and our elected officials accountable to not destroy us and disrupt us, but protect us and empower us. And so the timekeeper has told me I must sit down now. So I go to my seat by saying this: we have a major peace problem in the world, and we must pick up our own piece of peace. Zora Neale Hurston said every tub must sit on its own bottom. Those friends who carried that lethargic brother of theirs to Jesus understood that they could not carry the lame unless they all picked up their corner. And so if there is lame legislation like Public Act 4, if there is paralysis in public policy, as we're seeing in our day, where we bailed out the banks and we bailed out the insurance companies, we bailed out Wall Street, but there's no bailout for Main Street, if in fact there is yet an agenda that needs to be resurrected from the ashes of those